Good morning. We're now on page 595 of the Cheon Seong Gyeong, and still under chapter 1, the significance of creation. Subtopic, the environment God created for human beings. Number 20, before God created heaven and earth, he must have spent some time thinking about his creation. And he must have spent some time in preparation. That is to say, before he finalized his plan for creation, he must have thought about it first. Then he would have gone through the process of preparation before executing his plan. This is how he created heaven and earth. Heaven and earth are like this, and that means that God himself must be such a being. For God, there is a time of thinking, a time of preparation, and a time of execution. Through that process, he created all of heaven and earth. 21. From the point of view of the Word and compared to the Word itself, the creation of substance represents a more developed form. Only when substance appears can joy spring forth. When joy flows, the harmonious work of creation blossoms. When subject reaches a certain level of development, finally, love is added. We're now on page 596. This is the method of God's creation of all things. So first, there is thought, to which the word takes a plus position and forms substance, and finally, love is added. Through this process of creation, all things came into being. When God moved from the thinking stage to systematic stage of the Word, that is, from the stage of abstract thinking to the stage of concrete and logical formation inherent in the Word, he felt incredible joy. 22. When a writer sees her idea expressed in her completed work, she feels joy. Furthermore, if her work is made into a movie or a play, she feels even more joy. When her thought is developed into more systematic theory and then formed into something substantial, and many people can relate and feel joy from, her work gains yet greater value. Looking at human beings with regard to God's idea for the creation of heaven and earth, we can discern that he invested limitless devotion in their creation. God carefully considered the process and the forms he would use in creating us. 23. God created human beings through the Word before he created them. He searched for the right shape, and on that basis, he set up the connections they would have with all other substantial created beings. When these substantial human beings stood as the central beings of the entire creation, wasn't God so joyful? He would have been ecstatic to see the value of his creation being established right there. Once Adam stood in that position, God created Eve on that foundation. From there, love came forth for the first time. Love will assuredly come when the value of the counterpart in love is realized on the horizontal plane. 24. When God created all things, what did he make first? He created the spirit world, then all things, and finally human beings. He created human beings to become one with him in love. First, he made the spirit world. Second, all things of creation. Third, human beings. And finally, love. Through love, God and human beings were to unite. In the process of recreation, unless we fulfill the condition to reverse and indemnify the failure of love, we cannot find the path back to God. 25. What does God need? Since he needs true love. When he created the universe, he had to create the best environment. So God created the best environment first, and then made the subject and object partners that he could feel the greatest joy with, a man and a woman. The ideal of creation centers on true love, where that man and woman become one, which actualizes the vertical love axis with God based on their true love. All people should be in harmony with this. Every individual needs to participate in this and move in tune with the environment in a counterpart or object partner position. Otherwise, it is like dancing and with a right foot but no left foot, or having only a right leg with no left leg. It is like being disabled in love. This is not what God wants. 26. When God created all things, he did not begin with human beings. First, he made the environment, and in that environment, he began to work with the idea of subject and object partners. In this environment, God unfolded all creation in pairs with relationships as counterparts. In the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and in everything, including high and low, positive and negative, male and female, and man and woman. Even in the mineral kingdom, plus and minus become linked, existing in unity. The same form of unification exists among plants, animals, and throughout the world. 27. When we consider the principles God used in the creation of heaven and earth, we see that he did not first make the central beings and then the environment for them. Rather, before creating human beings, God prepared an environment based on relationships. In order to create human beings, he first made soil, for example. He established the internal based on the external. This is the principle by which heaven and earth were created. Things that existed at an earlier stage have become the basis for greater things at a later stage, and things with lesser value have become the foundation for things of greater value. This is the principle underlying the creation of heaven and earth. In creating human beings, God first made the human body and then the spirit. Subtopic: all created beings resemble God's dual characteristics. 28. If we consider the universe, it shows us that everything exists through a reciprocal relationship formed between the dual characteristics of positivity and negativity. This principle applies in every case, beginning at the level of minerals. A molecule is made of atoms, held together by positive and negative charges. In the case of many plants, reproduction depends on the union of their male and female parts from the stamen and pistil. These dual characteristics are more pronounced in the case of animals. Animals, including fish, birds, and mammals, exist in male and female forms. Also, God's greatest creation, human beings, can be divided into men and women. 29. God is the subject partner with harmonized dual characteristics. On what is his position as subject partner based? We're now on page 598. It is based on love, and that is why a horizontal foundation is necessary. God's desire to have a stimulating foundation that would spread out in many directions led to the expansion and development of the created world. So God created everything so he could always stand in the position of experiencing joy. God works through the vertical relationship, but when there is no horizontal foundation, there is no connection. So without a horizontal foundation in the object partner position, human beings cannot come under the dominion of God's love. So it's almost like we have a few seconds left.